And welcome to the Board of Directors meeting of Thursday, 17 March 2016. The first order of business is introductions. I'm Carl Kenninger, President of the GTCA.
Hi, I'm Ayat Saleh, the Administrative Assistant.
Joe Purcell, Director, Tower 1.
Wade Wesson, Director, Tower 3. Director at Large.
Soheila Cooper, Tower 2.
Rich Della Fuente, Director at Large.
Richard Miller, Director, Tower 1.
Frank Fittipaldi, General Manager.
The first order of business tonight is the approval of the open meeting minutes of January the 14th, 2016. Is there
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of the January 14, 2015 GTCA Board of Directors meeting in open session. Second.
motion is made and seconded? Is there any discussion? There appears to be no discussion of the motion. All those in favor of accepting minutes, raise your hand. It appears unanimous to me. The next order of business is the minutes of February the 18th, 2016.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes of February 18, 2015 GTCA Board of Directors meeting in open session with the one edit of Wade voting for himself. To be stricken from the minutes.
Is there a second? Motion is seconded. Any further discussion? There appears to be no further discussion. All those in favor of accepting minutes, raise your hand to signify yes. The motion is unanimously passed. If I'm going too fast. We have two items of special business tonight. It's required under our bylaws. At the first board meeting after the annual general meeting, we can elect the new officers. The election of the officers is reasonably simple in format. We'll ask for nominations for each office. The nomination does not require a second. Customarily, the only person who says something about the nomination, if they wish, is the person who made the nomination. When we have all the nominations made, we would take a vote. So the first officer to be elected would be the president. Do I have any nominations for president?
I would like to nominate Carl Kenninger for the President of the Board of Directors. During these past years, under his democratic leadership, the board has been transformed from a battlefield into a civilized forum that the directors could freely exchange ideas, collaborate, and make productive decisions. As a result, a lot of projects have been completed, and many others is on the way to successful completion. Carl has served as both director and officer of the Board of Directors for the past 6 years. He has handled this important volunteer position with dignity and professionalism. Many of my fellow board members have respected his position, and now that we are unified, we are all know that we are on the right path.
Are there any other nominations? For president.
Oh, right.
In that, there's only one nomination for president. If there is no objection from any member of the board, I will declare Carl Kenninger president by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? There are no objections. We're now going to move on to the vice president. Do we have any nominations for vice president?
I'd like to nominate Sal Cova for vice president. Al has served as vice president for the 3 years she's been on the board. I think she does a lot of unseen work behind the scenes and keeping things organized and structured and holding people, management, and the board accountable for keeping things on track and assisting Carl as vice president. I'd like to see her continue that role.
Are there any other nominations for vice president? There appear to be none. If there are no objections, I'm going to declare that Sahila Koble is vice president by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? The next position is treasurer of the GTCA.
I'd like to nominate Joseph Purcell as treasurer for the ensuing year. I think Joe has done an outstanding job. He's a real asset to this whole community. He saved us a lot of money, very smart man, and I can't think of anyone else that I would want as treasurer for the board.
Are there any other nominations for treasurer? There appear to be no other nominations for treasurer. If there are no objections, I will declare that Joe Purcell has been elected as treasurer of the GTCA. The next position is secretary.
I'd like to make a motion to elect Justin Mack to be the secretary because of his devotion to the board, and he's always here and he's up on top of everything. I think he'd make a great secretary.
Are there any other nominations for secretary? There appear to be no other nominations for secretary. If there are no objections, I'm going to declare Justin Mack has been elected as secretary by unanimous consent.
I accept.
We've been requested to have one more nomination for assistant secretary. Do I have a nomination for assistant secretary?
I'd like to nominate Richard Delafuente as an assistant secretary. Richard has been a great board member since day one, and I think will be a great asset to the board, maybe in my not being here.
Are there any other nominations for assistant secretary? There appear to be none. If there are no objections, I'm going to declare that Richard Delafonte has been elected secretary by unanimous consent. The next order of business is another procedural matter. Our bylaws require that within, I believe, 7 days after our first board meeting, that we publish the tentative, or the dates for the board meeting for the rest of the year, along with our projected date for next year's AGM and board of election meetings. I'm not going to, I don't believe it's too profitable to read all these dates, but I think if all the board members have the dates, we'll publish these in the newsletter and we'll circulate them in the minutes, so I can have a simple motion for the accepting of the meeting dates for 2016 and 2017.
I'd like to make a motion to propose this calendar for dates from 2016 to 2017 as listed.
Is there a second? Wait seconds. Is there any discussion? There appears to be no discussion. I would ask for a vote. All those in favor of accepting the calendar, raise your hand. It's unanimous. Reports and remarks. I'd like to thank the board for electing me president again. I'd like to thank the board for all their cooperation in this last year. I particularly want to thank Frank and the staff here, who I think is an excellent presentation of the last year's activities in the Galaxy. We are not going to have a manager's report tonight, so the next order of business is the controller's treasurer's report.
Good evening. I will February 29th, 2016. Your total cash available as of February 29th was $5.1 million, which is comprised mainly of $4.7 million in your R&R account and $300,000 in your depository account. There's an additional $1.5 million in the escrow account. Total cash is $6,658,985, and that represents an increase of approximately $98,000 compared to January 31st, 2016. Your total accounts receivable is $3,456,000, which is comprised of $3.3 million in legal, $50,000 of people in payment plans. 1 month due is about $30,000. 2 months owed is around $12,000, and anything over 60 days is 8,600. Your total accounts payable as of February 29th was $875,000. That is comprised of invoices between 0 to 30 days of $660,000, 31 to 60 days $128,000, 61 to 90 days of $17,000, and over 90 days of $68,000, which is mostly your legal expenses, which we're working on with the board on getting a hold of. Your portal activity, which is Condo Cafe, this is where people make their electronic payments online, was $280,132. As of March 2nd, there were 634 owner-occupants and 441 absentee owners. Of the 441 absentee owners, 409 are occupied by tenants. Units occupied tenants represent approximately 38% of the total Galaxy units. Your monthly financial package for February will be available about the beginning of next week on your Connect and Condo Cafe portals. Thank you.
Are there any questions for the controller from the board? There appear to be no questions. Thank you very much for your report. Next item is unfinished business. We have an amended policy resolution 10 of the health spa rules governing the use of the tennis courts. For a policy resolution, the board first has to pass the proposed change to the policy resolution and then give an open comment period to the homeowners so they can comment on the rules, and then the board has to vote again to accept it. If the board does not accept the first reading of the rules, the issue is no longer discussed. Last meeting, we postponed the amended policy resolution discussion to this meeting, so in fact, the policy resolution is on the floor now as a motion made and seconded. Are there any comments on the policy resolution? Richard, would somebody please pass the picture?
Make a motion on this, that this be postponed till a date in the future, because we still don't know whether we can, in fact, have basketball or use those tennis courts for any other use.
The motion is second. Is there any discussion on the postponement? So, if there is no discussion, we'll ask on postponing this motion. All those in favor of postponing the motion, raise your hand to signify yes. Okay. All those opposed? All those abstaining? The motion is carried. The policy resolution discussion is postponed. New business for this evening. The appointment of committee chairman. Almost all the committees, there were a few exceptions, have the language that says, in the beginning of the year, specifically in January of the year, the members of the committee will elect a chairperson or chairpersons to serve in the next year. The board then has the right and privilege of confirming these nominations. After the nominations are confirmed, the people who are newly appointed make a recommendation to the board on who the members of the committee should be for the next year. We've had from all of the active committees, members of the executive council submitted the names of the recommended chair people. The secretary is going to make a motion to accept these and read the list off, and then I will ask again if this is by unanimous consent. If it isn't by unanimous consent, we'll break it up committee by committee.
I make a motion to accept the committee chairperson for 2016 from the Garage Safety Committee of Annabelle Fonenta, Peter A. Jankowski, the Parents Committee, Claudia Butenhoff, the Seniors Committee, Joe Ginter, Bakshi, Glenn Kuzak, Social and Cultural Committee, Martin O'Jay, Nan Sanabria, Spa Committee, Irving Baramba, Herb Gelson, and the Recreational Activities Committee of Steve Rosen and Hernando Davila.
Is there a second? Motion is second. Is there any objection to any of these committee members, or can we accept these committee chairmen by unanimous consent? Are there any objections? There are no objections, then I declare these committee chairmen appointed by unanimous consent. Each of these committee chairpersons are charged with providing the board for its next board meeting with a list of committee members they recommended for 2016. The next order of business is a landscape design contract. Do we have the motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to award a contract to Land Exteriors of Morristown, New Jersey for a landscape design service on the amount of $10,160.
If I'm going to ask Frank if he would to give a quick, excuse me, I'm sorry. Thank you. And to give a quick summary of the contract, and then we'll go back to Justin if he wants to make any comments.
Thank you, Mr. President. There are about 6 areas throughout the property that could benefit from enhanced landscape design. They are the mini park, plaza driveway, berm, upper mall platform, River Road and Ferry Road area where the Galaxy sign did exist is about to be replaced shortly. The hardscaping around that sign. Also the Ferry Road lawn above that, and the outdoor smoking area adjacent to the outdoor pool. So several companies were solicited for bids. An RFP was developed, which included the requirement to do a site analysis and a plan on computer-aided design software with a layer showing the existing landscaping, and then develop concepts for these areas to be proposed to the board for comment and suggestions. Once those concepts were accepted, then the designer would then do final designs and propose plantings for those areas. All 6 areas are in this deal as a la carte, so we can choose, pick and choose among which ones we'd like to have the designer work on. So the costs for each are broken down. The cost of this contract will be $10,160. That's the low bidder, Land Exteriors. We had 2 other qualified bids that met our specifications. The high bid was $17,000, and the other bid was closer to the $10,000, but also above.
Justin, do you wish to make more comments?
No, I just wanted to echo what Frank was saying. I also think that for $10,000, I believe that this is a great benefit to the community. We have something going forward that we can actually look at intelligently, and when we change something, if we had it there, we don't have anything to look at as a plan right now. It's pretty much it's a wing it every time we have to change a plan for something. There's nothing architecturally that we can go to as a document, and I think this is a great benefit.
Are there any additional comments? Richard?
concept of this, I think is good. However, I think it was the place of the board to interview the finalists in this, in my opinion. I don't know if any others agree with me, because there's designers and designers. We went through a lot of designers before we embarked on the hallway project, or even picked one design firm. We don't know anything, the type of work that this firm does or not. I'm sure they're a very good firm. I know nothing about any of these. I would have liked to have seen the type of work that they do, because when we replace and enhance existing landscaping, I just have no idea, so I'm skeptical.
Are there any additional comments? There appear to be no other comments on this matter. All those in favor of this motion, raise your hand to say yes. All those opposed? The motion carries. The next item of business is the outdoor pool resurfacing.
I'd like to make a motion to have the outdoor pool resurfaced, and the award should be given to the contractor for sparkling pool services of Windsor, New Jersey, for the resurfacing of the outdoor pools in the amount of $25,000.
Would you like to? Sure. Frank? And then, thank you.
The outdoor pool was inspected in February. A significant percentage of hairline cracks and spalling plaster was found on the surfaces. This was anticipated from last year. When we considered doing this, we felt we could wait another year, and we did. This is a relatively routine process that needs to take place about every 10 years for pools of this kind, and it will have a life expectancy of 10 to 12 years. The scope of work was developed and sent to several contractors. 4 responded. Sparkling Pools was the low bid at $25,000. The high bid, Hudson Pools, $43,000. Todd Harris, $30,000. American Pools, $31,000. All reputable pool companies, all bidding on the same exact specification. So the recommendation is to go with the low bidder here at $25,000.
Do you have any more additional comment to make? Anybody else would like to make a comment on this resolution? Appears to be no other comment. All those in favor of this motion, raise your hand to signify yes. The motion is passed unanimously. That concludes the scheduled business. Is there any other new business to be brought before the board? There appears to be no other new business. May I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second, all those in favor of adjourning? The motion is adjourned. Thank you all for your attention. The staff and members of the board will be here after this meeting if you have questions and would like to talk to them for a few minutes. Thank you all.